If you've ever seen a Western, you know that it's a genre with very strict conventions. Strong, virtuous women, honest, hardworking farmers, lawmen, and ruthless villains. I grew up watching Westerns, which is why I was actually quite shocked the first time I saw Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven, a film that turns all of these conventions on their head. The sheriff, played by Gene Hackman, keeps law and order, but he's a cruel and sadistic tyrant, and the whole town lives in fear of his rage. Eastwood plays a hired assassin, but he's a family man, a man with a moral sense of right and wrong, someone who's willing to risk everything to protect the powerless from exploitation. So it's a movie that forces us to ask, really, who's the hero and who's the villain? This week's Torah portion, Tol'dot, presents the same sort of problem. All the expected roles are upside down. Isaac is the patriarch of the clan after the death of his father, Abraham, but the Parsha makes him out to be a fool who can't tell which son he's talking to. Rebecca last week was kind and gentle. This week she's a cunning and manipulative wife who pits one son against the other. Jacob, the hero of next week's Parsha, is constantly tricking and cheating his brother. And what about his brother, Esau, who we're meant to think is the villain of the story? All the Torah tells us about him is that he's a hard-working man of the field, scrupulously attentive to all of his father's needs. The worst thing we see him do is marry some Canaanite wives. Okay, his parents don't like that, but compared to all the lying and cheating, that seems to be a relatively minor offense. So who's the hero? Who's the villain? If Parshat Tol'dot is the Unforgiven of Torah portions, what's it trying to teach us? I think one lesson that we can draw from this week's Torah portion is the need to judge people not based on our stereotyped assumptions of who they are, of what their character is, but based on a careful examination of their actual behavior. Take Esau. Granted, in our Parsha, Esau says, "The days of mourning for my father will be soon, and then I'll kill Jacob, my brother." But what do we actually see him do? He makes no move against Jacob. In fact, Rebekah sends Jacob away much earlier than there's any indication of what Esau might actually do upon their father's death. And several chapters later, when they finally meet up again, Esau says to Jacob, "I have a great deal, my brother. Let what's yours be yours." So it seems that Esau wants only reconciliation with his brother. Whatever their hard feelings might have been, whatever in a fit of anger he might have thought about doing, he never acts on it. And it seems that throughout the Bible, we have this perception of Esau as a villainous character, when in fact he continually behaves more generously and much more giving than the other people in his family around him. And so I think that there's a challenge for us here as well, in the people that we know in our lives, in our families, in the community around us, to constantly be looking at what are their actions, not what do we assume about them, what are the stereotypes that we hold, but really to judge people based on how they live in the world. Shabbat Shalom.
Mazel, es scheint amol verjeden, verjeden.